My name is Richard Moore. I'm a business systems analyst for the City of Peoria, Arizona. I've been with them about 16 years. Peoria is a mid-sized city in Arizona, about 160 to 180,000 population last I heard. We started with the drinking water and wastewater modules in 2015, so that'd be about 11 years ago. And then we brought the cross-connection module on in 2016. Then the stormwater and industrial pretreatment a little bit after that. Some of the advantages, the reporting was much easier. We had we'll call it Brand X, and we were having lots of trouble with it. We were working with them trying to get the online test entry, and it seems like it was one step forward and two steps back. But with SAMS cross connection, that went much smoother. The thing that I really like about SAMS is you learn one module and they're all pretty much the same. I mean, there'll be slight variations, but if you know how to import data into water, for example, it's the same method for wastewater, stormwater, etc. The accounts between cross-connection and IPP, if you know how to deal with accounts in one, well, then you already know how to deal with accounts in the other. Having the same format or the same architecture on all these different modules makes my job a lot easier. SAMS products bring value to the city in various ways. For one thing, importing the data from the laboratories much faster now. With the SAMS modules, constituents have different names, and what's called in SAMS may not be what the lab calls it. So you just map them one time, and then SAMS remembers next time, so you don't have to go through that each time. With our old software, I had to remember or look up that this constituent is actually this, and that saves us a lot of time. The reports, so much faster now, especially our self-monitoring reporting forms that we send to the state on our wastewater plants, and our discharge monitoring reports, which also go to the state for our wastewater plants. It's one button, and then on the cross-connection side, for example, that tester portal, which we couldn't get working under the old software, it saves us a lot of time. I mean, hundreds of hours per year. And then a new feature in SAMS is the auto process. And the way that works, if a test report meets certain criteria, then it will not send it to the inspector to verify. It'll just bring it straight in. And we auto-processed, I think it's about 5,500 of these reports last year. And our supervisor estimates that it's about one man-minute per report that we're saving with that feature alone, the auto-process. Now, we did something interesting with the industrial pretreatment. We only have, so many businesses in town, and so we worked with NJBSoft to give us a method to sync up the accounts, and that would be addresses, contact information, etc. For people considering SAMS or any other new software, the biggest advice I can give you is look at your data. It's a lot dirtier than you think it is. I thought that our data in the old program for cross-connection, for example, was pretty clean. No, it's not. And that's pretty much for any database. After time goes by, your data gets dirty. You get duplicates of businesses. In fact, I just went through SAMS water and wastewater, and I pulled out a lot of duplicate contaminants. They come from the lab, sometimes with different names, and when I looked in there, I thought, oh, these are the same thing, and so I had to merge them all. Fortunately, there's a merge feature in SAMS, so it's fairly straightforward. I think the main value that SAMS brings to us is the accessibility of the data once it gets in there. So many ways to get the data out. We can run a query, and so you can click on a button, put in the date range, and you can get an Excel spreadsheet with the information that you asked for. Another thing that we take advantage of is these queries that most people don't want to run. We can set them to be emailed out on a regular basis, once a week, once a month, daily, whatever you want. That way, the query will just come to them. Something else that we've been using recently, which I really like, is the API. That's Application Programming Interface. And so you can set up a query in SAMS, and then you set up another query in what they call Power Query in Excel, and then you can pre-program this Excel spreadsheet to bring in the information that you want, and you can have it refresh manually, or you can have it refresh every 30 minutes, hour, whatever. And that's becoming pretty popular. We have like some people at the wastewater plants can see that. It's super simple and very, very useful to them.